Could it be true that Theon will save Yara? And will both or only one of the Greyjoy siblings make it to the end alive? Let me show you the hints we have. You're now watching Because Geek. So, what is happening with Theon and Yara in Season 8? Well, before we make any speculations, let me put forward every spoiler we have so far. First of all, we have reliable spoilers coming from Watchers on the Wall, claiming that Alfie Allen and Gemma Wellen were seen filming together on a ship during the second week of December last year. They were filming with other Ironborn men, but no other major characters were spotted around, which means that Euron may not have been part of that scene. Now, if Theon and Yara were together without Euron, it's very likely that Theon managed to save her, or she escaped, or Euron let her go, which is unlikely, but either way, Yara is safe with Theon again, so at least we have that. Then, a few months later, a Reddit user sneaked onto the Winterfell set and took a bunch of pictures of the props that were lying around, and among those props were dead Ironborn bodies, which means that the Ironborn will be part of the Winterfell battle. But will they be fighting with or against the North? Well, we can figure out what kind of battle this was by looking through the rest of the pictures. We have Starks, Knights of the Vale, Karstarks, Mormonts, lots and lots of Unsullied, which means that Daenerys has already arrived in the North at this point. These guys don't have any armor on, so I'm assuming there will be peasant casualties as well. Basically, all of the houses that we've seen in the North will be part of this battle. And other than a couple unrecognizable bodies here and there was no specific pile of dead bodies for, say, the Lannisters or anything that resembled the Golden Company. There were no Dothraki bodies either, only Dothraki-looking horses, which I find very curious, but we'll discuss that in another video. The only other important pictures we have are the ones that show us whites, so we know that this was clearly a battle against the army of the dead. And yeah, there's a slight chance that the person who sneaked onto this set may not have gotten pictures of the missing armies that we're looking for. But the argument that those Ironborn men were fighting with the North and not against them is strengthened by the next spoiler we have. There was a guy on 4chan claiming to have played a Karstark soldier extra at Winterfell for Season 8, and he had a lot to say about his experience and what he saw around him. Of course, a lot of people claim to have been extras in the show and end up being full of it, but after reading through everything he had to say, a lot of the Free Folk subreddit users and myself were pretty convinced that he was telling the truth. And he said that Theon was at Winterfell before the battle against the Whites started. Apparently he was pushing Bran around in his wheelchair. But this guy made no mention of Yara being on set with Theon. I think it's safe to assume that after seeing Theon's conviction and commitment to saving Yara at the end of last season, there is no way that he would be back at Winterfell without having saved her first. He seemed like he was willing to die for her, and it makes sense for his character arc. So if Theon has already saved her at this point, then why is she not with him at Winterfell? Let me give you the last spoiler we know about before we begin to speculate. Thanks to the Spanish Game of Thrones YouTuber Freaky Doctor, we have confirmation that Yara Greyjoy was part of the scene filmed at the Dragon Pit, which we know will happen near the end of the season, at the end of episode 5 or in episode 6, after the last major battle against the army of the dead. Euron should already be dead at this point, so this means that she did escape or was saved from him. And since we now know that this scene will not be part of any battle, we can safely assume that Yara will survive Game of Thrones. But it seems like Theon was not part of this scene, which could be bad news for him in that regard. But alright, let's do a quick recap of all the spoilers. Theon and Yara will be seen on a ship together without Euron. Theon will be at Winterfell before the battle against the Whites without Yara. And Yara will be at the Dragon Pit near the end of the season without Theon. If we put this on the timeline, what makes the most sense would be that same order. So by that logic, we should ask ourselves why Yara isn't with Theon at Winterfell, if he's already saved her. And a few things could be happening here. Yara could be badly injured and resting off-screen, which could explain why the Karstark extra did not see the actress on set. Another idea I had is that Yara is not at Winterfell because she took off to take care of something else, potentially getting together a fleet to take as many people as possible off of the main land and onto nearby islands, where they would be out of reach from the Whites, since it was foreshadowed last season that this would be one way to save people.
They swim?
No.
Good.
Another theory is that maybe the scene where we see Theon and Yara together on a ship happens closer to the finale and not before the battle at Winterfell. This would mean that Theon went back to Winterfell before saving his sister. And why would he do this? Well, maybe because when Theon was looking for Euron, he saw that he had the Golden Company with him, and decided that it was more important to go warn the North about this before saving Yara. Yeah, I think you can agree that this is a very weak theory, and it would be an awkward way to write his plotline. But also, their scene together on a ship was one of the very first things that were filmed for Season 8, and even though the show does not film in a chronological order all the time, it still should not get as extreme as filming something that's closer to the finale first. It's not impossible, but very unlikely. So I'm still leaning towards the first two theories. Either way, Yara will definitely be alive in the end, because we know 100% that the Dragon Pit scene happens after the final climax. But since there was no mention of Theon being part of that scene, we can't be so sure about him. Could we find different ways to explain his absence? Sure. But to be honest, I don't think dying is a bad end for Theon. He does not care about dying at this point because he's so damaged both inside and out. But he still wanted to make things right first. And he's already helped Sansa and will help Bran according to the Karstark Extra, but he still needs to save his sister and hopefully kill Euron. Now that would wrap up his redemption arc perfectly, even if it means that his life will end too. And if we see Yara ruling the Iron Islands in the end without Theon by her side, that would be one of the many bittersweet aspects of the story's ending that we're expecting. I just hope that she still has her tongue after spending so much time with Euron though. What do you guys think? While you think about it, you can check out more of my sleuthing videos or more of my animated ones. Huge shout out to my new September patrons, Mark V. Ferrer, or Ferrer, Mallory, Francisco Rodriguez, and Eric Lyons. Thank you so much for your support and helping keep this channel going. Thank you so much for watching, leave a like if you liked it, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one!